It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From big TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey guys, what is going on? Lee Sanders back with you guys for an all-new episode of the RCWR show this Monday night, February 23rd, 2026. Come one, come all, stay a little while with me, won't you? We are talking fallout from tonight's WWE RAW out there in Hotlanta, Atlanta, State Farm Arena, where WWE paid honor to AJ Styles. And I tell you what, if that was not alone by itself the full price for admission to watching tonight's show, I don't know what to tell you, because honestly, this episode of Monday Night Raw was really the snoozers, and that's despite the fact that we had two Elimination Chamber qualifying matches that filled out the men's chamber and the women's chamber for this weekend. That's despite the fact that we had finally got to get an idea of what the entire cards were going to be looking like for the chamber matches and all that. But this was definitely a show that was pretty lackluster. I mean, if you disagree with me, definitely sound off. I'd love to hear from you for the next little bit that will be on the air. I hope your weekend was okay. I hope you managed to get through all the silliness that was going on with the new round of snow that we got hit with over the weekend. Over here in the metropolitan area, we didn't really get it too bad. Most areas saw anywhere between 1 to 3 inches. Although, man, I hear my people up in New England, they got like 3 feet of snow. I'm going, ooh, we dodged a bullet right there, because the snow we got a couple of weeks ago, that crippled us for an entire week as far as our public school systems went, government, even college campuses. Everybody got impacted by that. As far as today went, we basically had, in most counties, 2-hour delays. And then some counties went on ahead and went with the virtual learning option. And from what I'm seeing going into tomorrow, in our area at least, the main thing that's causing a little bit pause for concern is potential refreeze. Now that what essentially came down, it was a slushy mix, which is great. That's what you want, because that means you can just get out there, take a broom if you like me, or you get a little shovel, but you don't have to do that much light work, and you could just boom, 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 and you're done within seconds. But if you didn't get a chance to go out there for whatever respective reason, you're going to be dealing with some serious refreeze. But it looks like worst case scenario is probably going to be maybe hour, 2-hour delay. So hopefully you guys have been managing this next round of the snowstorm and all of that. Sound off. Let me know what you thought about tonight's Raw. You can pop your head in the chat, say hello. You can also interact by voting on the poll we got up on Twitter/X at the RCWR show. Put my head on in that bad boy later on. See how that went. Yeah, look. It's interesting because I felt there was going to be some type of a swerve with AJ Styles in Atlanta as WWE was paying tribute to him. It was really hard for me to go, oh man, this is it. Like, this is really, really it. And there's just that part of me that was holding out just a little tiny bit of hope that maybe we were going to get some type of a swerve, but it did not happen. And I thought for sure with the way the show had opened up with Michael Cole and Corey Graves talking about how all throughout the night going to be paying tribute to the phenomenal one AJ Styles, and it seemed like they were maybe getting ready to lay it all out and have the honor himself, the special guest AJ Styles, come out. And there was a part of me that's thinking, oh, so is AJ gonna maybe be chilling at ringside throughout the night or something? He's gonna be with Cole and the gang, and they're gonna just kind of keep going back and forth with him like that? Like, well, what exactly are they doing? Well, before I could even really wrap my brain around that, Gunther came on now, trolling like usual. Didn't last that long as Dragon Lee came out shortly after Adam Pearce told Gunther, nah, I knew you was going to be pulling this bull crap. We ain't doing this tonight. I got officials right here that's going to see you out of the arena. You are done, sir. Have a good night. See you next week. Dragon Lee coming from out of nowhere, jumping on Gunther yet again. Action goes right into the back. Dragon Lee continuing to just lay it on Gunther. Do you think by now Gunther has had enough of Dragon Lee? Like, do you think? I mean, week after week, Dragon Lee has just been jumping this dude from out of nowhere. I think it's pretty much a safe bet that Gunther's about ready to just knock this little fly, this little insect, this pest. He's ready to just squash it already. Whether or not that's going to be playing itself out at Elimination Chamber, that remains to be seen. I can't help but wonder if maybe Dragon Lee and Gunther will maybe collide at WrestleMania. And if possibly, we may see the ghosts of Gunther's past and opponents that he's defeated and retired all come back. The spirits powering up Dragon Lee and somehow helping Dragon Lee stick it to Gunther one time. Very well, potentially, could happen. Let me know what you're thinking as far as Gunther's road to WrestleMania and how all of that is looking. Love the video tribute package that they put together for AJ Styles towards the end of the show. Creed, I'm not going to even lie to you guys. I am such a fan of the band Creed. I love the My Own Prison album. I have all the Creed albums, but if you were to ask me, because I love talking about that band because amongst the hard rock metal community, they look at that first album by Creed, My Own Prison, and they're like, man, that band kicked ass. This was before they went commercial. They were really leaning into the rock. Man, these guys were like borderline metal. And then when Human Clay, their follow-up album, had dropped, and I remember when I had picked up that album, Human Clay, I'll never forget. I was at this place called CD Warehouse down in Washington, D.C., Georgetown, Northwest. And it was run by a same-sex couple. Man, they were sweethearts. I love talking with them. Every time I would come in there, I mean, we'd be talking all different types of music. They had to have been one of the rare fewest people that I have come across in my travels where, okay, you want to talk rap? We can talk rap. You want to talk jazz? Okay, what, modern jazz? You talking classic jazz? You want to talk, R&B? You want to talk fusion? You want to talk soundtracks? They had to have been like two of the coolest motherfuckers I ever dealt with in my life. And I remember I was waiting in a little bit of a long line because everybody that was, usually the store would open up at 11 a.m. They couldn't sell the CD street release wise, time wise. They couldn't sell them any sooner. They couldn't open any sooner. They had to open like at 11 a.m. So I was talking with some fellow Creed fans because majority of the people that was in line with me, we were waiting for the store to open so we can pick up the new Human Clay album. And one of the coolest things that I had loved about CD warehouse was before you buy the album, you could preview before you buy, listen before you buy. And so they would have these cool little station booths, and you could just put on some cans and whatever CDs were already loaded up, you could listen to it, from beginning to end. No sample crap. You could listen to it from beginning to end and make up your mind if that's what you wanted to check out. Man, I was already sold on the first album. So I didn't, this is one of those rare instances where I said, no, I am good. I grabbed my copy, went to school. My friends were like, Lee, you got the new Creed album? I'm like, yeah. Oh, we gonna go to computer class and listen to that bad boy, right? I'm like, yeah. When we put that bad boy in, we all liked the album, but we felt that a lot of the songs were really popish this go round. It didn't have that dark, heavy tone that the My Own Prison album had, right? For me specifically, it was one of those albums, the more and more that I listened to it, it grew on me more and more. It's definitely, like, I get where a lot of people are saying, they're like, oh no, man, they became commercialized. And then, especially if you lived during that time and you all remember VH1, MTV, I mean, they were just all over the place when that Human Clay album dropped. Higher, what was the other songs they were playing on there? What was the joint from the Scream soundtrack? What If? Yeah, What If was running around all over the place. Higher was definitely the main one that was like, they played that fucking song to nausea. This had to have been the first time since that album dropped, and that song was just all over the place. I mean, that song had to been playing, and I need for my veterans to back me up on this because they'll tell you that fucking, oh my god, that song must have been playing if you were watching MTV or VH1. That song had to play at least twice an hour every hour. I bullshit you not. So this was one of those rare instances where when they were using that song for AJ Styles' video package, I kind of got a little bit of goosebumps. I kind of got a little bit of the chills. I felt it was a little outdated though, but I'm like, you know what? AJ Styles is about my age, if not a little bit older. Nah, this is right up this guy's alley. Like, yeah, okay. Somebody that knows AJ really, really well, they probably went, nah, this is one of his favorite. So I thought that was kind of a nice touch. Go back and check that album out though. But I mean, that whole album, the 11 tracks, I mean, Higher, Wides, Wide Open, Never Die. My personal favorite track from that whole album, it's two. It's two that I really, really like from that album. Beautiful and Wrong Way. Those are my two favorites from that album. I also got to give it up to Wash Away Those Years. That's actually a nice, damn good track as well. But AJ Styles getting a great Who's Who cameo from folks. We saw Chris Park dress up as the monster Abyss. He pretty much, I guess, got in contact with Kane's people and said, hey, look, I can't grow the hair anymore. Obviously, I'm much older. I just, at this point, I just want to wear a mask and a wig. Can you hook me up? And I guess Kane said, yeah, I know a guy that knows a guy. We can hook you up. It just looked like the worst cosplay I ever saw. It did not even remotely give me a faint hint of the idea of what Abyss might have been like in the WWE. It was nice how they did it though, because you had Frankie Kazarian who was walking down the hallway, feeling oh so smooth and cocky, full of himself, and then he walked past a boiler room, and then he stopped dead in his tracks, looked back at the door, decided to open it, and Chris Park Abyss just came out, and Kazarian is just like, yeah, right on. And he's like, come on, let's go. And I guess they both were gonna go, I don't know, look for AJ or whatever. The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, they were in the house. Shinsuke Nakamura, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, great who's who, Mia Yim. Who was not there? I mean, seriously, Bobby Roode even made a nice little cameo appearance. He was recognized on camera. Jeremy Borash, who we know has been a producer in WWE for a handful of years now, he was there. It was a great who's who. It was kind of one of those deals where I was going, man, where is Dixie Carter when you need her? But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE had saw what happened with Dixie Carter and TNA from a couple of weeks ago and said, "Nah, man, we good. We good. We don't need to go that route. Like, really, bruh, we don't need to go that route." But that was great. Also, how about the amount of celebrities that was there in attendance too for tonight's Raw? I mean, my God, if rap is your flavor, Jesus, they had just about everybody in there, right? It was hilarious as shit because I'm looking at this. I'm still a relatively young man, but I'm looking at all the rappers that they're bringing up. And this was literally a game of, does Lee know this rapper's material? Does Lee know the rapper, right? And then, so that joint just went 2 Chainz. Yes. Ding, ding. Lil Bow Wow, or now Bow Wow. Yes. Ding, ding. Who's the other one? Offset. Oh, yeah. I know about Offset. Ding, ding. Who else did they have in there that just kind of had me go, yeah, who? I'm trying to think like the other names that were. I know Dwight Howard was there. He's not a rapper, obviously, but Dwight Howard, former NBA player. I know he's been involved in a little bit of controversy of his own there, but always nice seeing Dwight Howard in the house. Great who's who of rappers that were all there. I just popped big time. Did I say 2 Chainz? I think I said 2 Chainz already was there. Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty was there. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know about Lil Yachty's music. This is so funny just seeing all these random people and everything. And it's just a reminder, too, a stark reminder that, and it's so funny, isn't it? Because, I mean, if you really take a step back and think about it, it's great seeing all these celebrities, all these names that we just mentioned and everything, right? But you think about the fact that the WWE product under TKO, right? It's obvious that they're not about the fans. Because if they were really about the fans, they would be making sure that the fans, the everyday common man, common woman that's trying to entertain the entire family, that they would be able to, get affordable tickets so they can go see these shows. Oh, hey, we're in Atlanta. AJ Styles is going to be retiring. AJ Styles has done plenty of stuff out here wrestling wise in Atlanta. Yo, what a nice way to, hey, I was there. I got to see uh-oh. Oh, I got to respond to that later. That's my professor. Nothing alarming. I forgot to hit him up and let him know that I wanted to use him as a recommendation. Anyway, but that it's just really, really surprising when you just take a step back and you look at all of these celebrities. And in today's modern WWE, it's like you gotta have either the right network hookup, or you gotta know the right people, or you gotta be making some really good money like that to be able to get the seats that Bow Wow, Little Yachty, and all these other people I just named, the Dwight Howards and all those guys. You gotta have that kind of money to be able to, yeah, we're here. Yeah, how about that, right? You know, really would have been nice also to hear fans talk about AJ Styles. I would have personally loved it. Kind of similar to what they had did a couple of months ago for John Cena. Remember that? And they had this little microphone and fans were walking up to it and they were just sharing random thoughts about Cena. I wish we could have got a similar thing like that where fans we could have heard from them and what AJ Styles meant for them as a wrestling fan growing up and all that, some of their fondest memories and all of that. Uh, you just think about the fact that when this was announced a week ago, WWE just all the time in the world. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. What they presented tonight was good, but it could have been even better. And I know a lot of you guys are definitely, if you were fortunate enough to watch it, you go, yeah, it could have been definitely 10 times better for sure. For sure. AJ Styles coming out revealing and God bless his wife. Seriously, God bless his wife. You know, we all can only be so fortunate to have a significant other essentially hold it down the way AJ Styles' wife held it down all these years. Now, I have to rely on you guys that are more AJ Styles historians and all that. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really like to pry in the wrestlers' personal lives and all that. But i- isn't it true that AJ Styles' wife was maybe trying to pursue nursing full time at some point, like early in AJ's wrestling career? And I guess when she saw it was really kind of starting to take off and AJ could pretty much make a decent amount of money for, the both of them and all that and future kids, that she decided to take a back seat to that. Am I kind of remembering it right? And she just pretty much went, okay, I'm all in. Let's go ahead and support your vision, your dream. I hope I'm remembering it right. If I'm not, I apologize in advance. But for seriously, God bless her, because for her to hold it down all these years, and this isn't me just giving a random thought. AJ had acknowledged his wife as part of his whole farewell to the WWE universe and all that. And talked about the fact that he missed a lot of birthdays with the kids. He missed a lot of anniversaries. He missed a lot of first time ever joints with the family. And I mean, he thanked his wife, because that's really testing. That is really testing the patience of your significant other. It really, really is. And it's just kind of one of those reminders that if you have somebody in your life, you're fortunate enough to have somebody in your life that, okay, this is what you want to pursue. This is what you're passionate about. Okay, well, you know what? We're going to pursue that dream. We're going to pursue that passion together. Don't worry about it. Let's do this, right? We'll make it happen. Whatever sacrifices we need to make, hey, it'll be worth it because we're going to do this. And that's all there is to it. And when it's all said and done, once you are where you need to be, then we can come back and we can take care of me, right? And so, yeah, that just really kind of hit home for me when AJ was giving his wife his flowers and everything, and the kids just kind of nodding their heads and all that. AJ addressed the fact that he did not take his gloves off in the ring after his match with Gunther. Talked about the fact that he didn't do it because he knew that Atlanta was gonna happen, and he didn't want to take his gloves off at the Rumble because instead he wanted to take his gloves off, do it officially, be a man of his word and all that, and pretty much retire at home. So he took his jacket off, laid it in the middle of the ring, took his gloves off, put it in the middle of the ring, and we're kind of under the impression, I guess that's it for AJ, as the entire WWE locker room saw a lot of folks from Raw and SmackDown, producer, some of the names that we had went over already. A lot of folks had showed up, giving AJ his props as they all stood at the top of the stage ramp. You see the executive producer credits pop up. You go, okay, well, guess this is how we're going to go off the air. No swerve, nothing weird's going to go down here. Like, this is really it. And it just seemed like we were about to fade to black when the next thing you know, lights go out and you're going, oh, what is this? Could it be AJ somehow Like, is maybe Brock Lesnar gonna like fuck him up or something? More on Brock Lesnar in a little bit because he made his return on tonight's Raw. Next thing you know, we see motorcycle bike lights. That could only mean one thing. It's the Undertaker, Mark Calloway. Got to make sure I put in the Mark Calloway in there. He comes on riding down. AJ Styles is looking on very perplexed. And, when Taker finally got in the ring, he had the most funniest perplexed look on his face as Taker kind of looked like, you really gonna leave that shit in the ring, son? It's kind of one of those type of deals. And no, Taker literally looked at the jacket and the gloves, and he says to AJ Styles, "Okay, so this is pretty much it. Like, you just gonna leave all this here?" And AJ's kind of looking on like, yeah, like I don't really understand what the problem is. He's kind of looking on like that. And you can tell AJ is taken off guard. By the way, I hope AJ's head is okay because when he came out for his entrance, I don't know if he was talking to somebody at the very last minute in the back or what, but when the cameras caught up with AJ right as he was pretty much coming from the gorilla position, coming out to the main stage, he banged the back of his head on a steel like type of structure that was on his respective right hand side. And you could tell he wanted to hang back real quick and just kind of rubbed the head. But I think there was also that part of him that kind of realized, yeah, you know what? The camera's probably behind me and we're live. Like, I'm already out here. Let me just go on ahead and just do this damn thing, just hit on out there. But like as you're looking at his facial expression, and I challenge anybody to go back and peep this. When you're looking at his facial expressions, he looks like he's going, oh, God damn, that hurt. And he's really just trying to he's really trying to just power through that and everything. But yeah, Taker comes on out there as he tells AJ that the two of them have some unfinished business. Definitely took the fans in attendance by surprise because they're like, what the hell does this mean? Like, is Taker trying to somehow give AJ a lifeline here? Like, we're gonna see a match or something? And Undertaker pretty much tells him something along the lines of, if you see me, that means you're going. And AJ still, isn't quite comprehending what it means, but finally Undertaker reveals why he's there. AJ Styles is going to be going into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame class. Well deserved. AJ looks stunned like a motherfucker. The wife, the kids, they look stunned. Matter of fact, you can almost read the mouth of one of the sons as he's looking to his mom saying, did you know about this? So that was a nice little cool moment right there. Well deserved. I mean, for not just what AJ Styles did in WWE for the past 10 years, but just his stamp on the sport of professional wrestling in general. I mean, and if you've been checking out my show for a long time, you know how I feel when it comes to a Hall of Fame. And for you newer listeners, any Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame, like you name it, if you throw the name at me, okay, and it's a reputable name, like like everybody knows this name, I should be able to just go, boom, yes, Hall of Fame. If I even hesitate for a split second, my personal golden rule, if I have any hesitation, then they're probably not going into the Hall of Fame, right? It's kind of one of those. Who else do we have, right? Like I know some people were up in a little bit of an uprage, right? Little bit of rage because I don't even know if you want to call it rage, but a little bit of WTF over the fact that Bill Belichick first ballot didn't go into the little Pro Football Hall of Fame.
No, I can just knee jerk, right? Like, do I need to even count the ways of probably why he's not a first ballot? Hall? No, I think they got that right. I think the committee got that right when it's all said and done. And then you want to look at Robert Kraft. Yeah, okay, yeah. Again, that's kind of one of those. I'm hesitating on Robert Kraft. Who else you got? It was one of those deals. So when I hear a name like AJ Styles, WWE Hall of Fame, there's no hesitation on my end whatsoever. I mean, you find me somebody that, nah, this person has more of the credentials. Lee, this person deserves to go into, besides AJ or before AJ. Like, it's a tough argument to make. So, and look, we got 50 plus days before WrestleMania weekend. And I tell you what, man, if you are trying to really move the fuck out of those WrestleMania tickets, as it has been staggering. I mean, I hate to tell you, told you so, but like a year ago, like when it was announced that WWE was going to be running it back in Las Vegas, I talked about it right here on this show. My side companion podcast that we do, it's kind of like a B side to this, Wrestling with the Topics, hosted by me and the missus. Even Tams was very concerned. She went on record saying she was concerned, like, wow, you're gonna go back to the same spot like twice? Like, are you, like, you serious? Right? And now we see what's going on. Yeah, like now more than ever, you got to do what you need to do to fucking make those WrestleMania weekend bundles and all that good stuff. You got to do what you need to do to make that shit sell, right? So the fact that you announced a big name like AJ Styles going into the WWE Hall of Fame, that's the right move. But you know, whatever they need to do, they got 54 days and counting. They need to move heaven and earth, right? They need to make an earthquake already and really, really move that needle already. I'm pulling for them. I hope they can do it, but at the same time, I want them to reap what they sow. I want fans to be able to, oh, okay, hey, great. I get to go to WrestleMania because the tickets are kind of affordable, right? Your definition of kind of affordable and my definition of kind of affordable, definitely two different things. Let's tackle some other big major news that happened from tonight's WWE Raw. For some of you guys that's wondering about the matches, we're going to talk about them, but I just got to tell you off the break, I ain't going to be doing no, there's really no need for no psychoanalysis. No, the matches were pretty crappy tonight, just all throughout. But one big piece of news that I want to share with you guys, I want to go a little bit in depth about Big Bronson Reed. Seriously, Big Bronson Reed, speedy recovery to you, brother. Heartbroken to hear this news. The Vision can't catch a break for shit, like literally. So, first Seth Rollins, then about what, 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was, Braun Breaker, and now this week, it is Bronson Reed. So Bronson Reed was involved in the triple threat match, the men's elimination chamber qualifier. Bronson Reed taking on Jay Uso and the third man. I'm trying to figure out who the third man was. I'm drawing a blank on the third man. Grande Americano was the third man. Match was going good the first little half and everything. Then we take a commercial break. When we come back, Bronson Reed is a no go. I mean, he's being checked by a medical official. Colon again. They show like an instant replay footage or whatever. And they show Bronson Reed. He just did like this regular move or whatever. It's really, really weird. But he does this weird move where he's getting up. Just seemed like he did like an everyday common move. I mean, it's just the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life or whatever. And Bronson apparently got up and you could see like all his veins and maybe like the tendon in his muscle, like something looks abnormal in his right arm. And he's kind of pointing to it like, oh shit, something went wrong here. You're not really thinking anything much of it at the time. You're thinking, okay, maybe he's just faking this. And when it counts the most, he's playing possum. He's going to let Jey Uso, Grande Americano do all the work. Then he's going to go in there and he's pretty much going to clean house. That never happens. Never happens. So instead, we see a ankle lock attempt there by Grande Americano. It gets broken up. Jey Uso hits the spear, goes up to the top, connects with the Uso splash. 1, 2, 3. 15 minutes and change. Jey Uso is your winner. He's going into the final spot for the men's elimination chamber. This was a weird one. The way Bronson Reed was eliminated, that not eliminated, but how he was injured. And then you're like, what the hell is going on here with Bronson? Like, because once we came back from the commercial and then we see the replay, now you're not so much focused on the match. Now you're like, so what's going on with Bronson? And then to see the way the match finished, because for me personally, I don't know about you guys, you all can sound off, but for me personally, I really was under the impression that Big Bronson Reed was going to win this and the big boy was going to be going into Elimination Chamber. And that was kind of one of those, now we'll never really know definitively if that what was in the cards, right? But because of what happened with Bronson Reed, and then seeing how the match ended officially, now you're just going, okay, so what really was going on here with Bronson Reed? You know, now it's a distraction, essentially. But I mean, look, on a little bit of a lighter note, to have a former world champion in Jey Uso involved in Elimination Chamber, I mean, that's cool. That's cool. I'm very, very curious to see who's going to be coming out of Elimination Chamber as the number one contender to face Drew McIntyre for the championship. I'm very curious how that's going to pan out. Now, let's talk more about Bronson Reed, because right before the broadcast ended, we actually got some info on what's going on with the big man. And I want to break it down for you as far as what's going on. I did my very best, kind of almost at last minute too, when the news was announced what's going on with the guy. So Michael Cole and the gang, they revealed that the big man is suffering from a distal bicep tear. And they said that he will be out indefinitely. Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's break this down for you guys. So everybody just take a moment, wherever you are right now, whether you're checking this out live or you're checking this out for on demand on the downloads. Everybody, all at the same time, hold up your bicep, look at it, okay? As you look at your bicep, right, if you want to make a muscle, that's fine. You can make a muscle, that's fine, right? But your muscle in that bicep, there's like 2 tendons that's in there, all right? You got 2 tendons that's basically at the shoulder. And there's 1 tendon that's at the elbow. So again, you got 1 tendon that's at the elbow, right? And then you got 2 tendons that's pretty much at the shoulder, right? Kind of goes like that. The distal tear, that means the tendon typically at the elbow was partially or completely torn away from the bone, the radius, okay? So the only way something like that can happen is if there was some type of sudden heavy lifting, trying to catch something heavy, or a forceful pull when the elbow is bent. Now, I've tried, because the footage that WWE was showing us, it really didn't tell us anything about what the hell was going on with Bronson Reed. Okay, it really wasn't. But if you go on social media and you try to see, like, yeah, what exactly happened exactly, because even when I was watching this with my wife, because she was like, "What the hell happened here?" Like, and I said, I don't really know. It's like it's probably just a common fucking move that Bronson did. And I told her, I said, I gotta go back and, actually watch the footage or see if I can find it online so I can see exactly what the hell happened. And it was a move that we've seen Bronson Reed do many, many times, which is essentially breaking up a pen. And the way he broke up the pen, let me set this up for you completely. And I cannot wait to see, shout out to Stevie Richards. I cannot wait to see the way he breaks it down and everything and tries to make sense out of it. Cause he did go into internal medicine, with his background and all that. But you have Grande Americano who has Jey Uso pinned. Jey Uso's on his back. Grande's on top of him. He's going for the cover. I mean, he's literally pinning him as the referee is starting to count. And then just coming from the right hand side, Bronson Reed leaps into the frame. And then he has his right hand, which pretty much, it's almost like he's trying to pull Grande off the way he's got his right hand grabbing onto Grande, and the way his whole body torques afterwards. Common move again. He's taking his left elbow, and the way his right, or correction, his left hand, the way his left hand connects to the other side of the canvas, the ring. He's doing it right. He's landing hand first, not elbow first. He's landing hand first. And then he's trying to make sure that as his weight continues and his body continues to shift, that, okay, now I need to make sure I'm kind of putting that force there into that left arm, as I now need to adjust the rest of my upper and most importantly, my lower body. And that's exactly what Bronson is doing. And the right arm, it continues to extend. It was almost like the way he was breaking up the pin. It was almost like he was trying to use Grande Americano. I'm just going to call him Chad Gable because we all know that's him under there. It was almost like he was trying to use Chad Gable's body as a supporting beam while he tries to land himself correctly. But I think where, unfortunately, Bronson really messed up here, he had that right arm extended and was holding on. Kind of looks like he was holding on to Chad Gable just a little bit too long and kind of miscalculated, because with all of that shifting of the weight on the left hand side, and then he's literally taking the other hand, grabbing onto Chad Gable, and it's just extend. Yeah, something's going to pop. And that's unfortunately what happened right here. It's very unfortunate. And then you can see the grimacing look on Bronson's face as it's almost like he realizes instantly, oh shit, I don't did something wrong here. And like he immediately gets up and he's automatically looking at, like, he's not even to his feet. He's not even to his feet. He's barely beginning to sit up and he's already looking at his right arm going, what the hell happened? And you can kind of see what's going on, but it doesn't look good. So that's what's happening with that in a nutshell. But more on that distal bicep tear and all that. He's most likely really going to be feeling it in the next handful of hours, definitely going into tomorrow, because there's going to be a lot of sharp pain in the front of that elbow. Definitely is going to be a lot of swelling, bruising, most likely some weakness turning the palm. Definitely some weakness when it comes to bending the elbow. Sometimes there could be a visible balling up of the bicep muscle as well. Now, where things stand right now, like it's obviously it's very, very early, right? What y'all need to be peeping now is, okay, how bad is this for Bronson Reed? Are we talking about a partial tear or are we talking about a complete tear? Because if it's a partial tear, then that's great. That's like the best fucking outcome, because that means that there's still some tendon that's still attached and that it could potentially heal without surgery, but the weakness will remain, right? But the recovery, just really depends how the body responds to the rehabbing and all that. Now, if Bronson is dealing with a complete tear, meaning the tendon is fully detached, surgery then is definitely going to be recommended. As without surgery, the strength loss can be significant, especially the turning the palm. So the treatment options right now, again, we'll know a little bit more. It could be non-surgical, which is more common in partial tears or, low demand patients and all that, right? He could be wearing a sling, having some anti-inflammatory medication prescribed, physical therapy, gradual strengthening, little things. But the downside to that is there may be permanently some lost strength, especially, you know. So we're treading on some very, very thin water right here. If it's going to be surgical repair for Bronson Reed, then that's going to involve the tendon being reattached to the bone, obviously. Usually that's going to take a couple of weeks for recovery. And it's an outpatient procedure. And then after the surgery, the arm's going to be placed in a brace, gradual motion added over the course of several weeks. And then the strengthening will start, much later. So for those of you that's kind of wondering, like, the timeline, first of all, those of you that's thinking like, WrestleMania, young, send this dude nothing but the very best speedy recovery and all that, because if it's surgical repair, I mean, we could be talking just a couple of weeks in a sling or brace, limited movement. And then you're looking at 2 to 6 weeks, general range of motion exercises, but there's no heavy lifting whatsoever. I mean, we could be looking at 4 to 6 months. We could be looking at 4 to 6 months with the guy, anywhere between 3 to 4 to 4 to 6 months. So the reason why Michael Cole and the Gang are pretty much going with the whole out indefinitely line right now is because the exact severity of the injury, it's still being evaluated. Obviously, there's got to be some MRIs that need to be done. Obviously, it's late at night. No surgical decision is going to be known yet. But the long-term outlook, if it's a case where he is going to have to get some surgery, high success rate usually. Most regain near normal strength. There definitely will be a slight strength difference that will remain. A re-rupture, very rare, but it's also possible. So I hope you guys found that information helpful. Again, speedy recovery to Bronson Reed. The Vision, just sucks what's going on with them. Seriously. I mean, first Seth Rollins. Then we get Big Braun Breaker, and it looked like Big Braun Breaker was going to have just like a big breakout fucking moment at WrestleMania, and nope, that's gone. Now we've got Bronson Reed out. Now all you're left with is Logan Paul and Austin Theory. What do you do now? I mean, seriously, what do you do now? If it were me, if it were up to me, you know, Omos is looking real good right about now. Omos is looking real good right about now. Obafemi, I don't quite know. I don't quite know about Obafemi just yet. I definitely know you can easily slide Brock Lesnar into the division if you wanted to. You easily go that route. I would kind of spice things up just a tiny little bit, right? Because they're missing that whole big man factor and all that. But the way they kind of had the vision set up, you know, you're talking about stars of tomorrow, essentially, right? Right. These are the guys you need to be looking towards as far as the future goes and all that. Bad pickle that they're in right now, man. I'm very curious to see how the Vision is going to regroup because they are in a fuck me position right now. It's not good. It's not good. Other than that, some other stuff from tonight's WWE Raw at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. We had, oh yeah, Rey Mysterio was there, wasn't he? Yeah. Rey Mysterio was there. Stephanie Vaquer, Jade Cargill were in the house as Liv Morgan had a decision to make. Which opponent would she be facing at this year's WrestleMania? She was giving Stephanie Vaquer her props, letting her know, hey, I wasn't aware of your background. You know, a lot of what you said, it really resonated with me, and you know, I misunderstood you. I did not know your background, and I'm really glad that you know you gave me the 4-on-1, right? And she says, you know, hey, it really helped me out as far as making my decision go. So seems as though she don't want none of the smoke from Stephanie. She's looking on at Jade. And then, wham, takes the microphone upside the head of Stephanie, beats her ass down. Jade looking on pretty much quite pleased. But then at the same time, kind of looks at Liv like, so we're good. And Liv's kind of like, we're good. Like, my decision is made. So, of course, now we know that in regards to that women's Elimination Chamber match this Saturday, winner of that will be facing Jade Cargill for her championship at WrestleMania. Liv Morgan making her choice. Should be a good matchup. I'm pulling for Stephanie, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It could be going back to Liv Morgan. It really, really could. Maxxine Dupri took on Nattie. By the way, weird recurring theme that happened at least too many times for me, from my personal taste. So we had the commercial there. The timing of these commercials for what went down with Bronson Reed, and then you look at kind of what was going on there with Maxxine Dupri. It seemed like there was too many instances where, oh, we got this weird collision. Oh, now we're going to take a commercial break. Shit, well, I hope they're okay. It just seemed like I was kind of saying that too much throughout the night. Wasn't a fan of that. Anyway, Maxxine Dupri, Nattie, didn't really go anywhere. This match was pretty much over in about a minute. Dupri coming out of the gate, nice, hot, fast, and ready. Just how I like my Little Caesars. Anyway, followed up with a kick to the head. Crossbody off the barricade. That pretty much sets Dupri, takes the straps down. But then Nattie just pretty much slingshots her ass into the steel post, and Maxxine Dupri is just out of it. I mean, legit just out of it. Nattie is acting like a rabid Wolverine. She's just pouncing on the back of Maxxine, and it's just wailing at the head. Referee gets in there to stop it. This was just I don't know what the fuck this was about, but okay. I don't know. I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way because of what had happened earlier with Bronson and Reed. And then we go with this, and I mean Maxxine, she sold the fuck out of that spot. I mean, she sold the fuck out of that spot. Good stuff right there. Good stuff right there. But like, I was here a couple of weeks ago, and I told you guys, yo, the way they're doing this Maxxine Dupri Nattie program, like they're already fumbling out of the gate and everything. Wasn't there a qualifier match that they did last week or the week before? And I talked about how, yo, so you have Asuka make Bailey tap out? Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, it's just so random, right? Because it's very, very rare that we see Asuka making people tap out and shit. It's like, well, it seems so uncharacteristic. And Nattie was all up in this match. So she got to see the conclusion of this match. She might have not been the one that got pinned or submitted, but she got to see the conclusion of this match. And then post-match, you had Dupree come out, beat her ass. Like, that whole thing was just, I'm not even interested in this matchup anymore. And that's just the way that the bookers have pretty much just fucked this up out the gate, personally. Interesting conversation between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio as JD tried to apologize from last week. You know, hey man, you're just my boy. You had my back, and I had to earn my keep here in the Judgment Day. I just wanted to pay it forward, and you know, I care about you a lot, Finn, and yeah, I just want nothing but the best for you and all that. And Finn told him, you know, hey, I appreciate you. You know, that means a lot. Like, really, it means a lot. But I got to do this on my own, which then forces Dominic to talk about how he's got a championship match against Penta next week and that he needs Finn and JD's help. And Finn gives him some tough love as he says, yo, dude, you know, I've been focusing on myself lately because, like, I've got the most important match in my career that's going to be coming up. And, you know, not for nothing, but when I've been going at it for this championship, you know, past several weeks, I've been doing it on my own, you know, and I ain't have nobody in my corner hooking me up. And Balor pretty much tells Mysterio, maybe it's about time for you to take care of your own battles. Maybe it's time for you to grow up. So kind of following up on what we had talked about last week, that great continuation of the thread and the needle in there of the Judgment Day and those seeds being planted that maybe Dominic ultimately kick Finn Balor out of Judgment Day, right? Balor goes over as a super baby face. I'm curious to see this experiment because we know that Finn Balor, that's Triple H's boy, man. That's Triple H's boy. So to see the true vision of what Triple H, Paul Levesque had in mind for Finn Balor, how a Finn Balor would really look on the main roster. I love this slow burn of storytelling that we're getting, so I'm continuing to eat the shit up. More, please. Obafemi was in the house. He still hasn't quite made a decision yet where he's going to be hitting. He has still some time to think about this offer. Contracts that's been presented to him by Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. He was about to throw it down with Rusev, but Pearce stepped in, pretty much saying, yo, let's kind of put all this aside, at least for this week. You know, for AJ Styles. Come on. Well, you thought I was going to say AJ Lee? No. That would have been something, but no. By the way, the weirdest fucking thing on Raw tonight. Who wants to get their ass kicked by Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? So Paul Heyman's with Brock Lesnar. And Heyman is pretty much doing all the talking. Heyman says that traditionally at WrestleMania, there were two main events. The Undertaker streak and the world title match. Talks about how Lesnar is the man that took one of those away when he conquered the Undertaker. So now the only dead man is the man who faces Lesnar at WrestleMania. Pretty much Paul Heyman goes, yo, this is an open challenge. Anybody that wants to get their ass kicked by Brock Lesnar, step up, get your ass beat. Nobody came out on this night, but we did get a reveal of Brock Lesnar's schedule as far as appearances go. I'm going to try to see if I can pull that up real quick. I'm hoping that it's on the MacBook here under photos because I did take some pictures. So I'm hoping it's synced up in time. Hang on here. No, it did not sync up. Hang on, let me try it one more time. Basically, there's like 5 or 6 dates that Brock Lesnar is going to be appearing on. And pretty much Paul Heyman said, yo, anybody, that's feeling froggy and you want to get your ass kicked at WrestleMania, these are the dates for Brock Lesnar. Feel free to show up. 5 more shows is going to be coming up. They're all on Raw. That much I do remember. Anyone want to take a chance? Pop up at any one of those shows. Don't even got to say anything. If you got the guts, get in front of Brock Lesnar's face. They didn't tease anybody particularly as far as like who it could be that'll step up to Brock Lesnar. Like, it's pretty wide open. This was just the most dumbest fucking segment and weakest fucking segment on the entire show, personally, because you made this weird transition from Obafemi backstage with Rusev to Brock Lesnar. And it's like, wait a minute. Rusev didn't hear that? Wait a minute. Oba didn't hear that? Really? And they're like, wait a minute now. Like, we're in Atlanta. And the fans were actually chanting at one point when they were hearing all this crap. They actually started chanting for Bill Goldberg. I'm going, damn, y'all know something? I don't know. Like, but no, Bill Goldberg came out. Thank God. But yeah, this was just the delivery of this. It was just so weird. Just rubbed me the wrong way. It just came off stupid. Really. It just came off stupid. I would have no Gunther. All the trash talking and, just he beat Bill Goldberg. He beat this person. He beat that person. And it's like, I don't know. For me personally, I just did not like the way this came off. Other people may like it, but I personally, I didn't care for it. Rubbed me the wrong way. Javon Evans taking on Kofi Kingston. OG cutter from Javon Evans, helping him secure the win. 10 minutes and some change. Nice to see these two guys go at it. Good chemistry between both of them. Love seeing Evans getting put over there by the veteran and Kingston, right? And also continuing to build up Javon, help him build the momentum that he needs going into Elimination Chamber. Setting him up to be, hey, this dude could be a really serious underdog. Yeah, he's got a catcher's chance, but this could be the dark horse right here. He could fucking maybe pull it off. I kind of like the way that they're kind of telling this story here. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Io Sky, Kairi Sane, Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez was able to punch in her ticket. Solid ass matchup. Great effort by all 3 women, particularly that Raquel Rodriguez. Solid ass work that she's continuing to put in there. She's definitely going to be adding a unique style to the Elimination Chamber, and I'm down with that. I'm totally down for that. Nice little, because when you really sit down and you just pay attention to Raquel Rodriguez's offense, she's really leaning much more into, I'm going to be kind of like a stationary brawler almost, a brawler slash powerhouse. I'm mainly going to be stationary, but I'm going to do these short moves. But when I do these moves are thoughtful, they're impactful. And when I land them, watch out because the motherfucker's going to be laid out, right? I really like the stuff that she's been doing as of late. So that's going to be a nice little addition to that women's elimination chamber match. Other than that, that pretty much was it for Monday Night Raw. That was the show. And the whole, like, if I had to point out one match that I really, really like from this Raw, I would go with the women's Elimination Chamber. I thought that was pretty good for what it was worth. I'll even give an honorable mention to Kofi and Javon. But other than that, like putting the AJ Styles, that was pretty solid for what it was worth. Could have been even better, but for what it was worth, that was really the price of admission for me. But yeah, the lackluster episode of Raw tonight overall, I would say. Let's see what you guys had thought about tonight's WWE Raw. We got a Twitter poll up at the RCWR show. Go vote over there. Shout out to GS who says the ending is what mattered. The entire show was a snooze fest. If you're keeping track too, GSS, that's 2 weeks in a row. Raw ain't cut it for him. So appreciate your thoughts as always, GS. Let's see where we're at here. And I think many of you guys that voted, appreciate you guys that voted. You probably were really, really on that AJ Styles buzz. Because check this out, people. We got a tie at 6%. Half said thumbs down. The other half said skipping it this week. That should have been skipping it this week. I said stripping it this week. Oh, shit. Spelling. Check that spelling. 13% staying in the middle. And 73%. I can't believe nobody caught that. Oh, bless your heart. You all are so kind. You're like, yeah, we know what you meant. 73% of you are giving the show a thumbs up. You know what? I wish there could be a bonus option in there. The AJ Styles, that's all that mattered. And I'm pretty sure if we kind of had that option to put that in there, that really would let us know truly, was it really all about the AJ Styles, or did y'all really feel the show was truly a thumbs up? Average show at best. Elimination Chamber this Saturday, February 28th, United Center, Chicago, Illinois. This is how the card is looking right now. We got 4 matches. CM Punk versus Finn Bálor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Meanwhile, Becky Lynch defends the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Punk's wife, AJ Lee. Elsewhere, the Women's Elimination Chamber for a WWE Women's Championship match at WrestleMania 42. We now know the full Chamber of Women. Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kiana James, Raquel Rodriguez. And main event match, Men's Elimination Chamber for an undisputed WWE Championship match at WrestleMania 42. We now know all the participants for this one. Jey Uso winning tonight to secure his final spot in the chamber. Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Randy Orton. I will get into match predictions later in the week. If not Tuesday night, definitely Wednesday. I will have predictions be available all throughout social media for you guys to check out. Hey, before we get ready to roll out, because now we're at about the hour 10. I told you guys, in case you guys did not check out last week's show, for the next little bit, at least until my spring break kicks in, which is going to be around the week of, I think March 15th is when my spring break is coming up. That's when we'll go back to doing the more longer expanded shows for you guys. But I just want to keep it nice and tight and short for the next couple of weeks. So, to kind of give you guys about an hour, 15 minutes of a show. I'm happy with that. Definitely, I will do my best to give you guys a bonus show or bonus content during the week. I try my best to hook you guys up. Got a lot of different projects going on. Half of it is school related, and then the other half of it is work related. But right now, what's getting the best of me, I got a couple of filming assignments that, professional camera, equipment, all that. Like, I got a couple of filming assignments I gotta tackle this week. I was hoping it was going to be done during the weekend, but then the snow went down and that just fucked everything up. So just appreciate y'all's patience. As long as you're staying connected on social media, y'all gonna know what's going down. Speaking of which, going down, y'all been showing love to the foodie reviews. Appreciate that. Keep it up. We got Papa John's, the new pan pizza. That's up. Y'all been sounding off on that. Also got a review up for the new Doritos NKD chips. Y'all don't know about that one. Well, check out the YouTube channel. Peep that out. You'll see what's up. Shout out to our sponsors. My girl, Katrina, spiritualcounseling.com. Make sure you check her out. Again, Katrina's spiritualcounseling.com. And then shout out to our newest sponsor, Questions for Cancer Doctors. You can learn more by visiting put in the actual number 4, cd.com. That's Q4CD.com. If you've recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer, before making those treatment decisions, get clarity from someone who's been there. A question for cancer doctors, Q4CD.com. Dr. Williams, who's a retired lieutenant colonel and radiation oncologist, helps men and veterans understand their options and ask the right questions before moving forward. They also have a pamphlet that you can download, learn more information, and ultimately, if you want, you can schedule a private one-to-one consultation. You can do all that at Q4CD.com. Q4CD.com, because the right questions leads to the right decisions. It gives me great honor to be working with the good folks at Q4CD.com because we've been talking a lot, definitely in 2025, definitely going into 2026 so far. A lot of good people have lost their lives to this form of cancer. Even in the Sanders household, a member of the family was affected by. You all know, we had lost somebody very near and dear to our family, and so when an opportunity presented itself in being able to team up with these good folks, I just felt it was a no-brainer, especially looking at the age demographics and everything. It just made a lot of sense to partner up with these people. So we're happy to have them on board, and definitely happy to have them on board. So midweek, WWE Elimination Chamber preview and predictions. Call that match style. Make sure you peep that out. And then this weekend, we definitely are going to have the Elimination Chamber live post show. I'm looking forward to that. That should be the card. We just went over the card. The card sounds pretty damn good, doesn't it? The card really does sound good. So it should be a solid premium live event. And it's all said and done. I want you guys to be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. Was checking out the analytics the other day, and I see my people out there in the United Kingdom. I see you. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much. United States, y'all are holding it down as always. Shout out to my people in North Carolina. Shout out to my people in California, Texas, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Chicago. Who else is in there that I kind of saw and I went, ooh. Oh, definitely shout out to my people in Maryland. Shout out to my people in DC. It's like DC's kind of picking up a little bit of steam there past couple of weeks. That's what's up. Get at me all throughout social media. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. If you haven't shown the YouTube channel some love, please make sure you do so. Hit subscribe. Hit the likes for this episode. All that good jazz really helps out. And until next go around, my pretty babies, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll see you next go around. Take care.